It's been a while since we spoke about the one thing that everyone was talking about during the IPL 2023, and that was, of course, that rather infamous spat between Gautam Gambhir and Virat Kohli. Now, obviously, it harkened back to a fight that the two of them had had previously in the IPL itself, but just this time there was a lot more spice and bite to it, simply because it went on for as long as it did. Then, of course, led to a lot of social media posts exchanging, which we've covered in some detail, so we're not going to go into that once again. But what we are going to talk about is the fact that, of course, Gambhir and Kohli, neither of them really commented about it in public. That is, of course, until now, when Gambhir, while speaking to another news outlet, has in fact very clearly talked about what he felt was overblown, and he's really shared his entire thoughts on the matter. And truth be told, it does kind of give away the kind of person he is in this regard, that truth be told, he's not really said a lot of bad things about either Kohli or anyone else who was involved. In fact, during this entire conversation, he was also asked about his relation or equation with former India skipper MS Dhoni, because the two of them have reportedly been rumored to have been sharing something of a frosty equation over the years. And he addressed, both of these things, the whole Kohli debacle as well as his relationship with MS Dhoni. This is what he said. He said that my relationship with MS Dhoni and Virat Kohli is the same. If there is an argument between us, it stays only on the field, not off the field. There's nothing personal. That's the key part, according to what Gambhir is saying. He's saying that there's nothing really personal about all of this. If there are any arguments or if there are any altercations between players, more often than not, it's just down to, them being passionate about their game, and they choose to keep things on the field and move on from it thereafter. In fact, he goes on to say quite a few more things about this entire, fight, because truth be told, it wasn't just limited to this one point. He does speak further on, and he says that, look, I've had many fights on the cricket fields. It's not like I never fought. I have always ensured to let these fights and arguments stay at the cricket field only. And it does, in fact, as I say, it comes back to what Gambhir talks about, where he says that, look, I don't necessarily want to talk about or talk too much about what's involved. All I'll say is that there's nothing too personal about all of it. It is just a case of competitors being competitors, getting into the heat of the moment. But once that heat of the moment is over, leaving things on the field and moving on from them. In fact, according to Gambhir himself, as he would go on to reveal, he said that he had many requests for interviews, interactions and the like to speak about that incident, but chose not to do so because, he said that I didn't feel the need to clarify anything that happened. And in fact, this is what he said. He said that a lot of people demanded an interview for TRPs, like they asked me to clarify, but the thing that has happened between two people doesn't need to be clarified. So that's exactly what he said. And it is worth noting that even though he's spoken about the incident in a little bit of detail, he hasn't really said too much. He hasn't really given that much of a clarification in terms of, talking about the issue at hand, whether or not he and Kohli have resolved it. None of that. All he's spoken about is that, I have nothing personal against anyone, and that if sparks do fly, we prefer leaving it on the field and rather than taking it off the field and making it something of a grudge. So that's what Kohli has said. You can let us know, by the way, in the comments if you actually believe what it is he's saying, or if you think that what he's saying is merely a well-practiced answer to ensure that the controversy dies down. You can tell us in the comments whether you agree with him, disagree, or, however it is you feel about this entire thing. And also don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, to like it, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, leave us a comment, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and don't forget to download the AajTak app as well. Plus, if you're already on the channel, you can go ahead, check out some other videos that we've done. But for now, from my side, goodbye.